So the new Technology Strategy Board funded Knowledge Transfer Network is almost 3 months old. It brings together 14 former knowledge transfer networks into a single network that seeks to capture greater value from the UK's, or indeed for that matter anybody else's, science and bright ideas. We're all about facilitating the delivery of new products, processes and services that solve problems and make people money. We connect those people who accelerate innovation. We address societal challenges. We seek to grow new technologies, and we facilitate collaborations. And we do all of that to convert good science into good business. And it's all about doing our part to increase the rate at which we can grow the UK economy towards a more knowledge-based economy. We all know the UK's really good at science. It ranks in a very small number of countries at the top of the science leagues, and in some areas we are the top science nation in the world. We publish widely, we win lots of Nobel Prizes, but unfortunately we lag behind some of our competitors at our ability to convert that science into products and processes that help grow our own economy. I sometimes upset some of my academic friends when I describe some of our science work as a charitable donation of science to the rest of the world. We really can and must do better at getting a local return on our investment for our real substantial investment in the science base. There are a number of challenges related to doing better at that, and one of them is about being better connected. Back in 2003, the government commissioned a review of the relationship between universities and businesses. It was the Lambert Review. I think it's full of lots and lots of common sense. And buried down at the bottom is a little quote which says UK scientists have delivered major steps forward in the science that have been taken to market, and the fruits of those labours have been harvested in countries like Germany and the United States, where essentially the research base and business are much better connected than they are in the UK. That was from Alfred Marshall, Minister of Trade, 1919, and we're still tackling that problem today. Don't get me wrong, the UK does brilliant science, and we should continue to invest in that fundamental, basic, blue skies, whatever you want to call it, the basic science that feeds the pipeline of new ideas. But if we want to be a knowledge-based economy, we have to do a much better job at retaining the value here from that investment in blue skies and basic science. Being better connected is not our only challenge. We also need to do a better job at carrying ideas across the valley of death between when Research Council funding stops and when things are de-risked enough for the idea to be picked up fully by industry. And that's the place that the Technology Strategy Board comes in, helping ideas bridge that gap between basic science funding and being fully supported by industry. There are other things that we need to do too if we want to do a better job as a nation. One of them is change the way that we measure university impact. If we could encourage a greater focus on carrying ideas through to the market from the research base, rather than just worrying about where things are published and their citation indexes, then that would be really helpful, and some things are developing in that way at the moment. Perhaps not as fast as I'd like to see them moving, but they are developing in that way. Some of the knowledge transfer networks that merged recently to form the one new knowledge transfer network actually date back quite a long way, over 10 years, to things called Faraday partnerships, and actually before Google. So has knowledge transfer changed a lot now that we can so more readily access information on the web? Actually only a little. At root it remains a body contact sport. It's essential to get to know people, to understand where they're coming from, and to develop that trust that makes a collaboration possible. And you can't do that remotely. You need to meet people. And one of the things that we do to build those collaborations and also to spark new ideas is that we hold lots and lots of events. And they're about supporting competitions, but they're also about bringing together groups of people who wouldn't normally meet. We can't add much value if we just turn up at an event that would have happened anyway. We add most value by bringing together people who wouldn't have done that without the support of the knowledge transfer network. So one of the things that we put a lot of effort into is facilitating new collaborations and making those connections. And sometimes they can be connections that are brought about because we are showcasing somebody's problem, we're articulating a challenge to people who might have a solution. Sometimes they're collaborations that come out of somebody who already has a bright idea, they have a shiny new technology, but they're not quite sure how to get it to market, or indeed which market it's going to go to. And we can help showcase those bright ideas to potential users, potential marketplaces. We can also facilitate collaborations that move technologies across industries. It's surprising how often somebody else has actually solved a problem in another industry, and people in this particular industry don't know that. And if we can get people talking across sector, we can transfer technologies horizontally. They don't need much further academic input. It's about a business-to-business relationship. And then there's a whole set of collaborations that are about bringing together the right partnerships, not just the funding partnerships, not just the route to market, but also the collateral technologies, the things that people need that they have to add to their bit of technology to actually make it saleable, to make it function in the marketplace. And sometimes that can be they need a sensing technology to be able to measure something, or they need the right materials, or they need application, a communications tool. They need something that is essential to them. And often their question would be, do you know anybody who does? And actually, throughout the network, we frequently do know the company that can help them with that. So we can signpost people to more in-depth support, such as from the Catapults, another member of the Technology Strategy Board family, or to support from the Growth Accelerator, from the Manufacturing Advisory Service, if you're in Scotland, from Scottish Enterprise or the Welsh and Northern Irish equivalents. So there are many places that we can help people find additional support. We're all about connecting people. And our ability to do all of that is assisted by the particular way we're structured. So we're a not-for-profit company limited by guarantee. We're grant funded by the Technology Strategy Board. And what that means is that we're not part of any trade association or any learned society or any university. We're technically not even part of government. We're as independent and impartial and objective as it's possible for us to be. So we're not trying to sell you anything. We're trying to help you find the right people to work with.